My amplified unit. It is a post-gym bonus vid, which means it's time to wake up, and get amplified. The delts are bulging. The coffee is brewing. That means there's only one thing left to do. Let's get amplified. Contradicting Sasha Banks stories once again. And Vince McMahon may now be without John Cena and The Rock for WrestleMania Hollywood, WrestleMania in Los Angeles, as if the dude wasn't already in a whirl of shit. That shit just keeps piling on, the old bastard in Stanford. We're going to talk all about it and so much more. There's just one thing left to do. Sasha, you got to hit my motherfucking music. Yeah. Salute, my unit. Sasha, cut that shit. Cut that shit. Salute to my amplified unit out there, man. Let's have a kick-ass bonus vid here on this Thursday. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are in the world. Salute. That's a Krispy Kreme donut coffee. If anybody has a Krispy Kreme wherever they are. They now have coffee pods, man. We're going to talk Sasha Banks in just a little bit. We'll also talk John Cena and The Rock, man. They have so many fucking projects. Vince McMahon cannot solidify them for WrestleMania. And this is a huge issue because those were the only real plans that Vince was going with. But we just got out the fucking gym, man. The delts are looking good. We had the Cove all last week. The Pandem 19. So we were under the weather, couldn't get a lot of good workouts in. I'm starting to feel back to normal, starting to feel that strength, ready to rip humans apart. So we stay and fucking amplified now, man. Before we get going, I want to give a huge shout out to every single one of my amplified unit members and the new members that just came on board within the last 24 hours, man. All the support and love you guys showed over that last vid. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to go to do 20 minutes more on this, but I will just speak on a couple of minutes just to say thank you, man, to all you guys. Of course, a certain promotion that wrestles, that puts on their show on Wednesday night. Like McMahon likes to hush up his paralegals in side flings. This company on Wednesday nights, they're trying to hush creators that just tell the truth, you know, the non-ass kissers that are just trying to get employment. The people that tell the truth because they want to see the product get better. You know, I don't agree with how they're conducting business. They're trying to hush those who tell the truth up. It's just it's a game that BC's not going to play. I don't want to get too much into it. I already put up that vid. And the love that you guys showed, it was incredible because it wasn't supposed to be like a Lacey Evans 5-part series sob story where everybody starts playing the violin for BC. Oh, poor BC, man. AE Dubs fucked with them. Nah, man, it is what it is. You know, it's not like BC received 6 pedigrees, 5 tombstone pile drivers, 3 Jake the Snake Roberts DDTs, 17 super kicks. and 4 Batista bombs and took a major L at WrestleMania in the main event, although that would all be cool, so I guess that wouldn't be a bad thing. That would be epic, and I would gladly take all those finishers and take an L at WrestleMania in the main event. But it's not like it's not that big of a fucking deal, man. They did what they did. They felt that I was too harsh to them, which I wasn't even close. If you've ever seen a WWE review, that's harsh. I was actually generous every week to AEW. I just I pulled out a lot of concerning red flags that needed to be addressed. I felt, and a lot of people felt the same way. That's how I accumulated a lot of AEW fans on this channel, because I was so damn truthful. And you really don't get that anywhere else. There's some people that talk a little bit about the negatives and then swipe it underneath the rug, and everything is just a bed of roses. Everything that they do is just a big rainbow, right? And you just suck some company strudel, man, nonstop. BC never wanted to be that person. I wasn't, and even though they kind of want to hush creators like BC up, that's fine. They're going to lose in the long run. BC never needed that company. That company needed people like BC, because we're the only way they're going to truly gain more of an audience and get even better. Because without the truth, you're left with just a bunch of fucking company strudel suckers. I'm not a company strudel sucker, so I hope he's happy with what he accumulated. His niche of strudel suckers. Because it's not going to happen, man. And it was nice, man. It's not a Lacey Evans sob story that I can no longer cover that company because they don't want me to. That wasn't my choice. The company doesn't want me to. And if you saw the video, you know what I'm talking about. But it's not a sob story, because it was actually nice to have a Wednesday off. It was nice to not feel forced into watching wrestling, because a lot of people watch this company on Wednesdays, and I feel that it's fake excitement. You know what I mean? Like all these fans, I use that term very loosely, by the way, these flag bearers, these tribalists, these strudel suckers. All I hear is it Wednesday night yet? Is it Wednesday night? And I'm like, why? Are you really that excited to watch what? Orange Cassidy, Pac, Swerve in Our Glory. What is pro wrestling is on life support. Nothing right now in any company is exciting. Please be truthful with yourself. You can have your own prerogative, your own opinion, your own way of viewing things, and your likes and dislikes, but let's not act like anything is exciting in pro wrestling, bro. And the AEW's formula has been pretty simplistic to date, right? Every month you're going to get two things. You're going to get a pipe bomb, whether it's an MJF or a Christian or an Eddie Kingston, and in the same month you're going to get some type of specialty match, like Lights Out, No Holds Barred, or Blood and Guts, right? And those two things are going to wow the wrestling world, and it's going to be rinse and repeat every month, right? And then here's another fucking promo that they broke down the fourth wall. And then here's another fucking like outrageous concept match, gimmick match. And we're just going to do the same thing and act like wrestling is just amazing today because of AEW. No, man. I feel every Wednesday I was tuning in out of fake excitement. Like I had to fake it because I had to show my support. And I no longer have to do that, man. Last night I got to watch my Yankees beat the Reds in the 10th inning. I literally did not watch Dynamite. It felt fucking amazing, man. I heard what happened. Swerve in Our Glory becomes tag champions, and people are fucking probably going to praise that, right? I didn't see the match. I didn't see the whole night, but I bet you it's easy to tell you exactly what happened. I bet you I know exactly what happened. It was a schmaz. It was no tag team rules. Wasn't it a triple threat anyway, I believe? So it's just Tornado. It's a spot fest. No rules, really. And it's just everybody trying to get their moves and their spots in. The selling takes a back seat. And when it was all said and done, everybody rushed to social media to say, what a banger! Right? And during the match, this is awesome! Fight forever! I bet you had all of that, right? And everybody's going to praise Swerve in Our Glory getting tag gold when everybody just 24 hours earlier panned Roxanne Perez, getting turned on by Cora Jade when they just got the tag belts last week. Well, you're going to dog that out when the AEW tag titles switched hands 3 times within 28 days, correct? I believe June 15th is when the Bucks... Wasn't it June 15 that the Bucks got the titles from Jurassic Express? And then, here we are just 4 Dynamites later, within a 28-day period, Swerve in Our Glory is taking the titles off of the Young Bucks. So within 28 days, you've had 3 sets of champions. Jurassic Express, Young Bucks, Swerve in Our Glory. 3 sets of champions within 28 days. If this was WWE, there'd be outrage. Content creators fucking pissed to the high heavens, to the bluest of moons. Till they're blue in the face, they'd be screaming out. Travesty. Outrage. But it's AEW. So not only does it make sense, but it's a thing of beauty. I know it's 3 sets of champs, but it tells the story and it sets Keith Lee on the right page finally. Does it? They're running around saying Swerve in Our Glory. Their tag team name is Swerve in Our Glory. We don't even know what the fuck that means. But we're going to act like we're excited. I get it. I didn't need to watch that last night. I'm glad I didn't. When I heard what happened, I can already tell you how this unfolded. And everybody panned Roxanne Perez getting turned on by Cora Jade. It's not the same thing, BC. They just won it last week, man. You act like this is the first time this has been done. Do you guys remember Tully Blanchard and Gino Hernandez? Do those names ring a bell? They won the tag belts, and in the same night, Gino turned on Tully. The same night, and they never got back together. The titles were vacated not long after. This told a story, man, that actually excited so many. For the first time in a long time, BC felt intrigued by a pro wrestling show. That's what happened on Tuesday night. They started with the parking lot takeout of Roxanne Perez, and then the whole night you didn't know what was going to happen. Is Roxanne going to be able to compete? Will she win the title if she does? Is Cora Jade going to take her spot or somebody else? Did Cora Jade do the attack in the parking lot? You didn't know. And when it was all said and done, Roxanne Perez actually competes. And the jealousy and how just enraged Cora Jade was with basically bringing in Roxy and watching her get all the accolades, and people saying it's because of Roxy they won the tag title 7 days ago. It reached a boiling point. She wasn't going to fuck around for a month or 6 months. She was going to do the damage to Roxy immediately. I mean, it was a swerve full of glory. Nobody thought it would happen that quickly, and instead of fucking going, damn, that evoked emotion. We didn't see that coming that soon. Instead of doing that, we just panned it because the skateboard broke prematurely. So everybody was focused on the skateboard breaking and going, wow, that was a shitty turn. Everybody started becoming a booker and a critic. It happened too soon. What are they thinking? They should have had it, and everybody started coming up with these wild amounts of time they should have been champions before the turn happened, right? Dipshit 1 comes out with, they should have been champions at least 6 months, right? Dipshit 2 is like at least 4.5. Dipshit 3 is like, I would have went 9 months before the turn. Everybody thinks they're a critic. Everybody's a booker all of a sudden instead of just enjoying the shit because it evoked emotion, right? But no, everybody thinks they know what the words long-term booking means. Nobody knows what that means. They use it to sound smart, like they're a wrestling fan that knows what they're talking about. Long-term booking is not taking a set of titles or individuals and booking them for the next year and a half. It's not mapping out who's going to be the next 3 to 4 to 5 champions over the next year and a half to 2 years. That's not called long-term booking. Long-term booking is creatively diving all in with characters and storylines, creatively making engaging characters and engaging storylines for the foreseeable future. That means you take 2 dudes, or if it's a tag team, 4 dudes, and you create a 2 to 3 month storyline. That's long-term booking. Long-term booking doesn't mean 2 years where you're mapping out the next 6 champions because you're not allowing any organic reaction, any organic emotion, or any organic circumstance to take shape or fold. Case in point, Stone Cold's rise came fucking furious and pretty fast. Well, if you mapped out the next 2 years and you said nothing that happens is gonna derail our plan, well then Stone Cold would have never became what he became. The Yes movement with Daniel Bryan and that culminating WrestleMania 30 moment, that would have been ex-nayed because Vince had set in stone the next year and a half of champions and big stories. No, you have to let things happen naturally. Back in the day, Vince never actually planned a year to 2 years in advance. There was kind of weak, very weak blueprints, but he was planning feud by feud. The only difference is back then you only had 4 big pay-per-views a year. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. That was before even King of the Ring. So it was much easier, right? You did 2 to 3 months, and toward the end of the feud, Vince would start to see who's getting hot, who he can trust, who would be a good feud and mix next, and then you would start planning for the next big thing. Today, man, wrestling fans, and I use that loosely, they think they know terminology like long-term storytelling, long-term booking. So they take somebody like Roxanne Perez, who should not be in a tag team anyway, somebody like Cora Jade, who should not be in a tag team. Let them flourish now. They got all the momentum. There's no need to do a Keith Lee to them and thrust them into a fucking tag team. And they say, well, the titles are meaningless now. How do you figure? First of all, the titles don't make the individuals. The wrestlers make the titles. And let's not act like this is a situation where they were already feuding and then they won the titles, making it a bullshit reign. They won the titles, and then we were all swerved. Emotion, man, because it happened out of nowhere like an RKO, dude. It was genuine. Nobody thought it would happen that quick. It keeps you on the edge. It's unpredictability. The tag titles can only, at this point, what I would do, you already have the WWE main roster tag titles on the shelf because there's just no tag teams. So if you're going to have women's tag titles, I would unify the bitches. Those titles should be unified. Make it just one set of titles, not separate, not NXT and main roster, and just have one pair of gals, one tag team going to all 3 brands. Have one division, and now you can have your tournament that's been on the shelf. So this would all make sense if they just did that even tenfold. But even if they don't do that, and your champions remain somehow, can they coexist? Cora Jade and Roxanne, of course they can't coexist. They're already flipping out. They're already done with one another. This is going to add intrigue to anything way more than what those tag titles were bringing in. But you want to act, a lot of you guys want to act, not my amplified unit, other fucking mutants in the community, they want to act like if Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade held the titles for the next 4, 5, 6, 9 months, like that was going to be intriguing. Let's not act like even if they held the titles for the next 9 months, like every week you either were not going to watch anyway, or you were just going to take a shit on the show anyway. And then in 9 months when they do the breakup, you're not going to give a fuck anyway. You're going to be bored that it took so long. What I saw Tuesday night was emotion from a television show of pro wrestling. That never happens anymore. But no, everybody took a shit on that because it was too soon to break them up. But the title in AEW changing hands twice within a month, 3 sets of champions within 28 days, that's perfectly fine because it's AEW. AEW. Meanwhile, Keith Lee has to remain in this fucking tag team while he swerves in his glory. Okay. I know I said I wasn't going to spend 20 minutes on that shit, but that whole amplified cold open was actually, it had to do with the hypocrisy of everybody taking a shit on Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez and what happened Tuesday night, but yet everybody's okay with, or most likely anyway. I refuse to even engage in anything that happened last night. I just fucking, it doesn't even feel right. The way they conduct business, it felt so good not to even not to even watch that shit last night. It felt really good. But I just know that everybody's probably praising the fuck out of it while they take a shit on Roxanne and Cora Jade. But if it was WWE and the titles changed hands twice in 28 days or 3 sets of champions within 28 days, if Keith Lee was in a fucking tag team named Swerve in Our Glory in WWE, we'd be taking a shit on it. It's hypocrisy, bro. And so my point is, it felt so good to have a Wednesday off and to do that in the future. Will I ever cover that company again? Maybe. If Tony wants to apologize, rectify the sitch. If I feel the need to, or I just want to, maybe in the future I will. But felt good to just get away from the fucking geekiness of it all and just watch my fucking Yankees. So I do want to show the love and support right back to all those that showed the same to BC, man, over that situation. And thank you for understanding why I just can't cover Wednesday nights for the foreseeable future. It wasn't my call up front, but it's probably for the best. Because I've had enough of the fucking hypocrisy anyway. It's all fucking bullshit. And we're geeking out. Geeking the fuck out. All right, that's it, man. Sasha Banks, real quick, man. Sasha Banks, there was a report that actually from the people themselves, I think it was C2E2 or some shit. Something in, is it Chicago? It's like one of those Comic-Con things. There was a release that went out for Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is going to be doing a signing under Mercedes Velocity, Mercedes Velocity, whatever the fuck you want to call her. Fernando. I think it's Fernando. She better get another wrestling name too, man. I love Sasha. This is a pro Sasha channel, but I can't, I don't know if I'm backing Mercedes Fernando. Buy that name. Throw Vince a ton of fucking money. Get that Sasha Banks name, man. It just fits. It's gonna take me so fucking. It's gonna take me a lot to start calling her Mercedes Fernando. Damn. Anyway, she's being. It was advertised as Mercedes Fernando, and then in like parentheses like Sasha Banks. So it's like, the formerly known thing. So this led everybody to go, okay, she's making an appearance. It's like official. This Comic-Con is saying that. And she's going under Mercedes. And then literally, man, in less than 24 hours, I think it was Fightful. They were like, they reached out to everybody. And the only statement they got was that Mercedes, Sasha, is not taking any actual bookings until 2023. Now, that could be wrestling related. Like, she's not going to wrestle until 2023, but she's going to do maybe autographs, which would lead people to believe that she would fulfill her 90 days, or maybe she got out of that. It would only be 60 days if it was in August. So maybe she somehow is going to be free in August. There's so many conflicting reports. It is so sad to see everybody get something, some type of word, rumor on Sasha, and then they just belt out articles, content, videos, when nobody knows the facts. Still to this day, I put a vid out last week, and I'm saying the same thing a week later. The only thing we know for sure is that she is still with WWE in some way or facet. The letters after her social name, WWE after Sasha Banks. If you go on WWE.com, the legal outpost site for the roster, the roster sheet for the public, the legal one, still has Sasha Banks front and center. Sasha Banks is one of their talent. That doesn't happen when you're released. That's what I mean. There's more to this, and everybody just starts spewing out autograph session. She must be out. Well, why not wait until we get word from either Sasha or WWE? I don't understand the fascination. I understand speculation sells, and everybody's trying to be the first one to break news about a hot topic like Sasha, but I think I just respect her so much more than to just be a tabloid. And I hope people Hope people just let this relax, man. When there's real concrete information, let's send it out. I mean, everybody just gets this, and then they're like, that must mean Sasha confirmed out of WWE. And then you go and check WWE, and it's like, no, she's not. So let's wait it out, man. There's nothing. She could be. Let's see. What is so wrong with waiting and seeing? I'll never understand that. But everything's got to be a clickbait, and everybody's got to be the fucking tabloid. And fuck the real, truthful information. Let's be the tabloid. Let's spit out the fucking rumors, and let's see where it goes. Let's see if it sticks. With Sasha Banks, Mercedes Fernando. Naomi's been dropping hints left and right that she's done with WWE, talking about basically getting away from her little fucking prison situation she was in. And that's great. If they get away, hopefully they will be used to their most highest of potentials. If they go to the dub, AE dub, I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore. I had high hopes. And so far, most everybody has fallen to the wayside or has not been booked as properly as they should. So I don't know if how much better that would be, but you gotta think anything would be better than what they had in WWE. They were not being treated good at all. They just were not. They were being treated like they were just another talent. Sasha Banks is way more than that. Naomi's even way more than that. First of all, 10 years in that company, put some fucking respect on her name. On top of that, she's always the highlight reel in all of her matches. And Sasha's always the common denominator for everybody's best match. So to just throw fucking insignificant tag titles on them and throw them into a non-existent tag division, it just didn't seem right. At this point, them being at the local bingo hall would make more sense and would probably be better for them. But BC's just going to wait until there's concrete evidence, man. You know, it's so many articles and videos going out about every little thing they do. And yet the site still says WWE wrestler Sasha Banks. Until WWE, because this is when you're released legally, WWE has to cut ties with you on their rosters, especially their public roster sheet, man. You have to be out because legally you're still promoting. I mean, you can get in a lot of shit for that. I don't think people realize that. That's why I say something else is going on there. She still has these immense ties with the WWE. So just to say that every fucking time something happens, another hint, she's gone. Another hint, she's gone. Another hint, she's gone. Well, we get it. There's 1,000 hints. Now we need the actual confirmation. I don't know any other way to say it. So that's all I'm going to say about it. John Cena and The Rock. This is what Vince McMahon is banking WrestleMania Hollywood, WrestleMania Los Angeles on, WrestleMania 23. This upcoming, what is it, March? Early April? I think it's end of March, maybe. Well, it's coming up. WrestleMania. He's hanging his hat on the big LA boys, right? The Rock and John Cena. We already know that he wants John Cena in theory, and I think that makes the most sense. It's supposed to be SummerSlam, but the Peacemaker filming of, I believe, season 2. I haven't seen the first season. But the Peacemaker bumped John Cena out of SummerSlam. And The Rock supposed to be taking on Roman. That was almost a lock. Several times Vince was almost able to lock that in, and new projects came in. Now the latest we're hearing from both firms, both talent agencies, is they honestly do not know if their respected talents are going to be able to fulfill any duty for WrestleMania. That is literally, man, Cena. Let's start with him. WME, William Morris Endeavor, is his talent agency. And the latest word they're giving is his schedule is not just stacked, but more projects come in by the week. So far, the Peacemaker filming 2 is going on now. He also has Head of State to film and also the Jansen Directive, which was, if you guys remember the Jansen Directive movie, that was supposed to be The Rock as the lead. The Rock ended up coming into the same issue that Cena is having right now with WME. The Rock came in with the same issue with Garcia Media Group and $7 Entertainment. Too many projects were sitting there in Rock's lap, and they realized, oh shit, we committed to too many. So The Rock had to pull out of the Jansen Directive, and John Cena had to fill in. So The Rock in $7 actually got John Cena to fill in. So that's another movie that Cena now has to do. And according to WME, there's 2 other projects up front that Cena now has to film into early July 2023. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Early 2023 is when you have to start building for WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is in early 2023. You could easily see John Cena pushed out. WME is not going to let John Cena compete in WWE when they have upwards of $20 million contracts sitting in their lap when it's all said and done, if you combine projects. They're not going to let that happen for a $1.5 million payday from Vince McMahon. It's never going to happen. That's why they cannot lock in. That's why Vince can't lock in John Cena. And on the flip side, The Rock, as I just said, with Garcia Media Group, his talent agency with $7 Entertainment, he double dips there. Danny Garcia, his former wife, mother of Simone Johnson, she's a media giant. Maybe not as high as Kris Jenner, or Kris Kardashian, whatever you call her, the mother of the Kardashians. She's a fucking juggernaut and a half. But Danny Garcia, man, is she huge right now thanks to The Rock. And she oversees all these projects. Listen to this list, guys. This is just what we know of right now. The latest word that Garcia Media Group, $7 Entertainment, the latest list that they gave us, check this out. Red One, filming and post-marketing of it, because you got to do all that press afterwards, man. That's a tour in itself. Red One, I think that's like an Amazon film. Not anything to do with Red Notice, by the way, which I believe was another Rock film. This is totally different. But Red One, a separate project, movie project, Doc Savage. Then there's a separate project, Big Trouble in Little China. A separate project, movie project, The King. And then the XFL, which kickstarts early 2023. Mid-February, I believe, is the actual kickstart of it. And he's doing a whole XFL tour. But you have a list of like 5 movies and the XFL that's all kicking off from summer straight until through spring of 2023 up front that we know about. Where the fuck is he getting the time to build a WrestleMania title match or WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns? I have no fucking idea. Because wrestling training, to have a match, that's a whole nother entity. The Rock himself, Dwayne Johnson, will tell you that. I still call him The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, whatever you want to call him, man. Dwayne, Mr. Johnson. Dewey, if you've ever seen Young Rock, the television show, I believe that's NBC. But no matter what you want to call this dude, man, he already stated that when he had to come back for the matches with John Cena, he had to literally dedicate weeks, months into getting into ring shape, wrestling shape. Well, if movies call for his body and just his overall training and shape to be something totally different, well, then you either have to alter your wrestling gig or totally cancel it. I hope you guys are keeping track. I know that's a lot of information to throw at you, a lot of movies, a lot of talent agency shit, business behind the scenes. But this is what it comes down to. If you guys think it's just, well, can't they just do one night at WrestleMania, spend a few nights in the weeks leading up to just iron out some plans? Maybe The Rock shows up to a couple of Raws. John Cena shows up to a couple of Raws, SmackDowns. No harm, no foul. They can still film BC. It doesn't work that way. The talent agencies will block them. If they know that they have these huge movie deals and they can get upwards of 10, 15, 20 million dollars because of what it also leads to other projects, they're not going to cancel that so that he can go and play wrestler for $1.5 million. No talent agency will ever allow that. So then you have to have John Cena and The Rock literally say, Dwayne Johnson say, no, I have to do this. I'm doing this, and there's no exception. I don't care. Block off my schedule for February and March. Unless they do that, I don't see how both of these guys for sure, unless something changes. I don't know how Vince is going to land both. At this point, we can only hope he lands one. Because I just don't know what is it going to be exciting about WrestleMania. This is their second biggest pay-per-view of the year coming up, SummerSlam, in just less than 2 weeks. Their second biggest one, or is it a little more than 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Saturday the 30th is SummerSlam, the second biggest event of the year for WWE. And nobody can truly say they're excited because it's so far half the card that we know about is rematches. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, we've seen 8 or 9 times at least. You're going to get Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. That's a rematch. We just literally saw that at Money in the Bank. You're going to get the Street Profits versus the Usos tag titles. We literally just saw that at Money in the Bank and 4 times previous. 6 times one-on-one, 3 times in 6-man tag action. How many times you got to see that? We're going to somehow see Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair in some way, probably again. And you're going to see Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. Maybe they add another female or 2 into that, but that's a rematch. All the title matches. It's all rematches. You know? And unless you can say there's a trajectory or something that tells us it'll be different for Mania, it's not going to be. And I don't want to have another Mania season where it's just not feeling exciting and it's just not... It's off. It's off. Nothing's captivating us, man. The Rock and John Cena WrestleMania in LA, I understand a lot of people just don't want part-timers coming back because that's the problem with wrestling. We're not building new stars. We're just bringing back the old-timers. Trust me, I understand that. But WrestleMania in LA, the John Cena Theory match has to happen at some point. We all know that. And we all know that The Rock and Roman has to happen at some point. It's the Tribal Chief storyline the world is waiting for, man. Roman Reigns' ego has gotten so big, he literally thinks he's the head of the family when we all know the true breadwinner is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. It has to play out in the ring, and what better stage than LA, Hollywood, WrestleMania? So these are mega matches that have to happen, and that would be the night. But from what BC is seeing, from what the talent agencies are telling us, don't be so sure though any of those matches are going to happen at Mania. And that's actually sad. Because that puts the ball right there. This will force McMahon to make new stars. And we know he's just not on board to do that. So what match is going to really captivate the world for WrestleMania? We'll wait and see, right? That's what we do, man. We tune in out of habit and hope anyway. BC Amplified, man. Thank you for joining myself, my assistant Sasha, for this impromptu Thursday vid. I couldn't go over the other company on Wednesday nights. They won't allow BC to do that, so I still wanted to give you guys some content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you go and whoop today's ass, man. Amplified style, man. Get them up and start smashing, crushing the day, ripping motherfuckers apart. And until next time, man, we'll cover SmackDown later this weekend. And stay subscribed and notified for any bonus content, obviously. Thank you guys so much for taking a moment to smash that up. That always fucking helps the algorithm as well. Because we also know the tube doesn't necessarily like BC. Too controversial. I'm too harsh lately, I guess. So I thank you guys for taking a moment to smash that up as well. All right, that's it. Sasha, you know what we gotta do. Until next time, hit my motherfucking music. Thank you.